Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
Oh, maybe I should have saved that from Origins, but I'm not conformed by society's rules, Dad.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom. Hello, I am not Skinny,
And I'm not Jurassic Mark.
and this is the Village Idiom.
We are, for a special Father's Day, a special
Yes,
taking over from our father's spots. I am actually Beetlebat, and this is...
Wonder Bread, and I am Pastor Vince's son, and he is Pastor Mark's son.
Who are these people? You mean Jurassic Mark?
Jurassic
and
Mark
Skinny?
and Skinny, right. We just want to say a very special happy Father's Day to all the dads watching the podcast. We love you all, and we hope for good stuff for you in 2020.
But this ain't your papa's podcast, baby.
No, it's not even your stepdad's podcast. This is
our podcast now.
Yes.
The Village Idiom, where we take a deep dive. Yeah, it's no longer shallow. We're changing everything about this podcast. This is now a deep dive.
we're gonna get so in
And
depth with this podcast.
It's no longer comedic.
This is a serious podcast.
This is serious. Okay?
Now, like, we would like to say a word from our sponsors,
What do they usually do?
and that was our sponsorships. All right.
Our sponsors are Miss Pac-Man. It's coming back, baby.
And we also like to thank Mappy.
Mappy. Who could forget? Most people. Most
people forgot about Mappy.
So yeah, how has your week been going, man?
It's been going great. You know, I just got a job recently, so I'm very excited to start
I
that.
heard about that.
Yeah.
Where are you working again?
I'm working at, I don't know if I can say it. Well, actually, I signed the papers. I'm working at Cactus Club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They're our sponsor this week.
You might want to cut that out.
No, it's good. It's good.
And then, where's your workplace?
I work at a lovely lumberyard sawmill.
This video is sponsored by
Wood. Just the entire industry of wood. Stop rolling this thing around. How do we lock this?
Sorry.
So, yeah, we are taking over, which means it might seem a little sloppy, but that's just our own flavor, you know?
You know, why do we got to take things, why so serious?
Yeah, why so serious? Sometimes we just like to go off book, baby.
We're very serious, but we're not serious at the same time.
Maybe they'd like to talk about their lives. We like to talk about silk scarves. What kind of silk scarf is your favorite silk scarf?
The cotton one.
The cotton one? There was one rule.
Was it the polyester?
No, these are...
Oh.
Silk. We're looking at silk here. No,
Fur?
if you say another thing. So, as you've clearly guessed from our banter, the idiom for today is...
The apple does not fall far from the tree.
And you've probably noticed that it doesn't, because I am exactly like my father.
And I have the exact same forehead as my father.
You're getting there. It'll get more like him as years go on.
Yeah, you see this? You see these top parts here? They're just going to go back and back. I got the widow's peak now. Sooner or later, it's going to be a
pretty
flat line.
soon, this is just all going to come out. So, yeah. The apple does not fall far from the tree.
Indeed.
That is an idiom. But what does it mean?
Well, it means that, like our fathers,
Yeah.
and their fathers, and their fathers' fathers,
Yes.
they did not fall far from the tree. So that means that, you know, when you produce kids, when you have kids,
Produce them.
produce them, Walmart.
I get it. Produce like an apple.
Oh, there it is. We're very much like our parents.
Yeah,
and
the
family
apple
growing up.
doesn't fall far from the tree, as in we are very similar to our parents. We don't veer that far off.
Right, we share very similar interests, personality traits, looks,
I heard
etc.
this might be more for the origins, but I heard a different usage because this was like an old usage of this phrase where it was more of we don't fall far from where we live. So, for example, like we live in the hometown, we live in Vancouver, Canada, and like I'm planning to stay around here for at least a while. But even if I do move, most likely I'll be coming back here.
Yeah, or if you move somewhere else, you're gonna live in the similar lifestyle of a busy type city, right?
Well, yeah, that could be it. There was just that most people have an urge to return to their hometown,
right.
no matter what. So that was another usage that I found, but it seemed to be an older one, so maybe I should have saved that from Origins, but I'm not conformed by society's rules, Dad.
We're going off record here. We're going off the grid.
We're not going off record. We're
going off the grid.
Literally recording it.
Yeah, we're going off the grid, though.
Off the grid, though.
Trying to screen movie.
We haven't said our names, so we could still go off the grid.
It's true.
We could stay hidden. They don't know who we are. What else do they do? The meaning, the thing.
The Origins?
We could do Origins.
It's true. It's true.
Do we have a clip of when this was used?
I think we do. This is from... You're going to have to guess what movie this is from. I'm going to put this up. I don't have this.
Yeah, let's just put it up to the mic. This is how we do it, Dad.
This is our own style.
Did the horse just say it?
Yeah. There's a... There it is right there.
I've known you were going to take as long to do your hair.
Ooh.
And I've had another goblet of wine.
I think you've had enough. I want you sharp for what you must do next.
Only true
I will
fans
kill your
will
mother,
know this, son.
and in exchange,
The
you'll
scene.
bring me to a land without magic where I can finally get my revenge on Rumpelstiltskin.
Indeed. But first, I need to know what kind of man you are. You don't know my mother. She's an expert at one thing. Exploiting weakness.
This is a very long
And
clip.
I need to make sure you have none.
Well, she sounds lovely. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
That was, of course... Was that Colin Farrell in Once Upon a Time? Is that Colin Farrell?
It is Once Upon a Time.
Once
I've
Upon
never
a-
seen the movie, so I can't tell you the actor, but...
Is it a movie? I thought it was a show.
I don't know. I don't... I don't know. I'm sure. I think it is a show. My sister's
Yeah.
watch. I think it is a show.
Oh, are we supposed to have jokes written up too?
That's planned stuff. We don't do planned
Oh,
stuff.
we don't do planned stuff.
We just go.
Dad.
We go off of each other.
Hear that? Dad.
Faza.
Faza. Mufasa.
You know when we were in the Dominican Republic, people would call my dad. They call him pasta beans.
Pasta beans?
Because they couldn't pronounce the V very well.
Well, yeah, V and B are very similar.
So
yeah.
anytime we were like at a restaurant, we'd be like, "Oh, we need the pasta beans."
Pasta beans. Beans.
Would you like the pasta the beans?
What accent was that?
This is my.
Because it did not sound
my-
like Dominican.
It was my Thrifties version of Italian.
Wow. You need to work on your accents.
I do need to work on my accents.
Oh, man. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Indeed, it does not. But what is the origin? Where was that originated?
Oh, well, as we know, every single episode, even if it's not your Papa's podcast, has to have this wonderful little ditty.
I said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
The origins.
The origins, indeed.
Okay, so I found some. Yeah, I did start reading from Barry Poppick. Ever heard of him? The famous lexicographer Barry Poppick of BarryPoppick.com.
Do you mean Mary Poppins?
No,
Oh.
Barry Poppick.
Is that like her brother?
He is the founding editor of BarryPoppick.com.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
What a crazy coincidence.
It's insane. I wonder how they hired him. Okay. Apple. I found one from 1736.
That's a long time ago.
Actually, let's go for the later ones first. So I've got one from 1821 from Chillicothe, Ohio.
What'd you call me?
Chillicothe,
Okay.
Ohio, from a newspaper called The Weekly Recorder, and they have it recorded as "The apple never falls far from the tree." A little bit before that, 1803, William Owen puts in the Dictionary of the Welsh Language, The apple will not fall far from the tree. And then the oldest one that I could find from 1736, it's a little bit different, but it's sort of the same phrase. The apple never falls far from the stock.
From the stock.
From the stock, not the tree, the stock.
The stock.
And that is printed in the Dictionarium Britannicum.
But the stock of what? Apples?
A tree?
Trees? Stacks of trees?
Stacks of trees.
Isn't that called an orchard?
What are you even talking about right now? You don't stack trees.
You ever played Minecraft?
Do you do that in Minecraft? I haven't played Minecraft.
I do that in Minecraft.
You ever played Mein Kampf?
No. So I found one that mentioned that someone had mentioned this idiom, but had not written it down in a book yet.
Okay.
So in 1585, that was quite a while ago.
That's like 150
Richard
years
Jenny,
older.
who wrote German proverbs from the Orient, had mentioned that this saying had been possibly mentioned in 1585. But his earliest seen in print is the year 1605, so about 30 years, or so about 20 years after. It's in a book titled, oh my goodness, I am not going to be able to pronounce this.
Oh, I got it. Let me see.
Polyglottis.
Okay.
It's actually polyglottos.
And what does it say in the Armaglio Club?
Well, it's a German book, so it says it in German.
Okay.
It says, my German's not any better, but it says, Der Apfel fällt nicht weit vom Baum, which translate to, the apple does not fall far from the tree.
Wow. Well,
Yes.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. The Armiliogalia Polyglottus, its English translation is Proverbs and Opinions of Different Languages.
I see.
Yeah, so it says, anyways, if this proverb does not go back to the year 1585, that means it is
Does
at least,
not.
if it doesn't, it's still at least 433 or 430 years old, because they don't know for sure if it was origined in 1585, but it was written in 1605.
I see.
So it could possibly be, older, but it's at least over 400 years old, which is a long time for an idiom to be passed around.
And you know what they say about idioms.
I don't know what they say about idioms. What do they say about idioms?
You called my bluff. Anyway.
That's a good bluff right there.
Yeah, right there. I was hoping you would just say, "Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do know what they say."
Dude, they say it at the club all the time.
Oh, idioms will get you. So, what joke did you prepare for today?
Oh, I prepared a great joke. What do you call two?
Yeah.
What do you call two sons doing a podcast?
Adorable.
That's a good. Yeah, that's it. You got it. You guessed it right.
Oh man, I'm so glad.
I'm so glad. Yeah, we're not gonna be invited back anytime soon.
Well, this ain't your papa's podcast.
This isn't your papa's podcast. Not even your stepdad's podcast.
I've been trying to think of a joke because I was like, oh, there's so many things that we forgot to prepare. A joke, riddling. I think I could think of a riddling before the end of the episode if I talk slow and stop.
So my thing is, why did they decide on an apple? Why not like
it's probably
or another fruit?
If this was made in where was it? Germany?
Yeah,
Germany probably. That would probably be the most common fruit.
That does make sense.
They don't have oranges. That's like more of a tropical thing. Same with bananas.
Yeah, right.
Bananas are all tropical. Coconuts wouldn't happen. I'm trying to think of any. Well, but even then, it wouldn't have to be a fruit. Like it could have been a nut.
Right.
They probably have some sort of nuts.
But I wonder if they chose an apple.
Germans have nuts.
They do, but I wonder if they decided it based off like when the apple falls, you know, it rots, it goes into the soil, and the seeds sprout a new tree, and then they produce apples and fall off. Same thing like life, where, you know,
Yeah, but
you're born as a kid, you obviously grow up, become an adult, and you have kids of your own. Same kind of concept.
but so would a nut.
So in a nut, but I wonder if they just went through all the foods that they had and were like, which one sounds the best?
Okay, let me see.
No, that's not it.
Is that your
That's my German.
that's your German improv?
Listen, I'm not gonna. No, you gotta. It's a lot of the throat. It's a lot of like.
I hope that is very good in your headphones.
I could feel you licking my ear.
No. It was more like me throwing up into your ear.
That's much better.
Yeah. Man, do I have a story about an apple?
Do you?
I bet I could think of one. So, when I was in the Dominican Republic, never been there.
But what's some fun things that you've done with your dad that you continue to do to this day, or that you've reflected on and you're like, this was like a really fun memory I had with my dad growing up?
That guy just doesn't get it. No, you know what I actually, as far as the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, me and my dad, at least growing up, it feels like it's starting to change, but we used to have very, very similar tastes in movies and music and stuff like that. And as we tend to grow apart, we're not like growing apart.
That's so sad.
That's so sad. But we
tend to get older. And
I get my own taste. Like when it's all old stuff and it's stuff he's shown me, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
He's shown me Jurassic Park, which, believe it or not, he enjoys.
Really?
Yeah. So when he's like showing me stuff like that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is amazing. But now when it comes to new stuff, we start to have different opinions. Like he thought the Emoji Movie was good.
Did he?
Yeah.
I never saw the movie. I saw the Rotten Tomatoes review and I was like,
Yeah, I saw it day one opening. I was like, no way I'm missing this. This is history.
And
no, but
how was it?
It was probably one of the worst movies
in history.
The reason it was so bad, because you know how you can enjoy a bad movie.
Of course.
Like sometimes you'll watch a movie and you're like, oh, this movie is so bad.
Sharknado.
Sharknado kind of knew what it was doing. But like, have you ever heard of the movie The Room?
No.
Now, The Room is a special kind of movie that has been thought of as the worst movie ever. It's where the phrase, oh, hi, Mark. You ever heard somebody say that?
Yeah, I have.
So the acting in it is just so terrible. And so, like, the pacing of it is weird. I've never watched the full movie, but you can just watch, like, a single clip and be like, this can't be real. It's all overdubbed. So when they talk, they have to overdub their own voices. So
really?
Yeah, so like it kind of lines up, but it also kind of doesn't. This is like only certain scenes, but it is insane. But anyway, like that movie is so bad that it becomes funny and enjoyable. The Emoji Movie,
Not
it's
so
just
much.
it's just like bad, but not bad enough to be funny again. It's just like,
what's your favorite movie to watch with your dad? What's your movie where it's like, yo, if we want, you know, if we're in a silly mood, we want to watch a funny movie, this is the movie we're gonna watch?
It's like, honestly, it's Jurassic Park, and it's not a funny movie.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't watch funny movies together like over and over again. If we're looking for a comedy, we'll find something new that neither of us have watched and be like, oh, I heard this was good, let's watch this. But yeah, if we're watching like an old classic that we've seen a billion times, but it's still good, we both still like it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's the one I can think of right now, at least, is Jurassic Park.
Yeah. For me and my dad, it's 100% Napoleon Dynamite.
Is it?
Yeah. One of the funniest movies I've ever watched in my life. Because I remember that, like, before we watch it, my father was like, oh yeah, we're gonna watch this movie. And you know, I usually want to look at and like research in the movie to see if I'm gonna enjoy it or not.
Yeah.
And you look it up and you read it, you're like, oh, this just seems like every like high school type movie where it's like, you know, there's the two losers and then one of them wants to get popular and then they get bullied and all this, right? And that's what you kind of read on it. but watching it is a whole nother experience.
Well, it's like it really didn't fall into any trope. It was just weird.
It was just,
and that's why it was like so good.
There will never be a movie to replicate its beauty.
Because Napoleon Dynamite, he was like a nerd, but like he didn't really care. It wasn't like he was bullied and he's like, I just want friends. He was like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. He looks like he's
I shot like 12 Wolverines.
He looks like he's high the entire movie because he stands with his eyelids half open and his mouth like...
He's like a nerd, but he's not smart.
He draws a liger.
He draws a liger. Oh yeah, I was going hunting with my... What was it? His uncle?
Yeah, his uncle. His uncle is very wants to be big and well known and a big football guy. And he's stuck in this year where he was like in his prime of football type thing, right?
Right. Oh, but he doesn't look like a footballer at all. He just looks like a random skinny dude.
No, yeah, exactly. He's got that bowl cut with that mustache.
Man. I'm trying to think if there's any like comedy that we watch. I feel like it's usually either it'll be an old comedy that he's like, I can't believe I've never shown you this. Yeah. And he'll be like, let's watch Airplane or something. Yeah. Man, Airplane's so good. But
the Cars movie?
No. It's like an old 70s movie.
Oh, okay.
It's called Airplane, and it's just the stupidest movie. There's one of my favorite jokes is he was like, I was under so much stress in the army that I started to have a drinking problem. And you just see him grab like a Gatorade and just go, that's his drinking problem? Because he doesn't know how to drink anymore. He's just like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's that kind of stupid humor.
That's great.
There's one.
I think I would love that.
There's one part where they're like, it takes place like in an airplane because I think both of the pilots get knocked out and then they have to figure out how to land it and all this kind of stuff. But there's like one part where this lady's freaking out and this guy comes up to her and she's like, hold it together, and like shaking her and stuff. And then they're like, hey, stop that. And then another guy goes in and starts shaking her and then slaps her this time. And then they're like, how could you? And another person goes in, and as the next person goes in, it gets more and more aggressive.
That sounds
and then
Jim Carrey in this movie.
At one point, it's a nun, and the nun's like, "Come on, you have to get yourself together." And then you just see this line form up behind this lady, and one dude has a wrench.
I think I've seen that in like a Family Guy episode before.
Possibly.
Where Stewie's like freaking out. One family member slaps him. He's like, "Oh, I gotta do something," and then the next comes in. It's just all of a sudden this line of people.
Probably a lot of Family Guys just referencing to other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, that movie is so good though.
Back to the idiom.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
It doesn't. We're both. If you've met us in person or you've met our dads,
you haven't.
But you can tell by the podcast, we're both very similar.
We're pretty similar to our dads, yeah.
I would say personality is probably the biggest.
I would probably notice it from like less personality, more mannerisms. Like I'll see you laugh and you laugh like your dad.
Yeah.
Or like the way you just stand is a little bit more like him. Like I can already tell that my hands are moving the way that my dad would move his hands when saying this.
Yeah, exactly. And I like lean back to like wheeze. I do the wheeze laugh where it's like, oh, is the tea ready?
Man, it is.
The kettle goes off.
Yeah, it's stuff like that which make me go, oh man, he really is
my dad,
skinny son.
I think something else that me and my dad would do that.
And we have similar humor to our dads.
Yes, our humor is very similar. Is something else is like creating having newfound ideas or just having like where we just see something and we're like we should take this opportunity to like try to so like for example, we both have similar experiences with this, but when you went to Disney, I remember this story of when you went to Disneyland and the Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Where we wanted to take something epic for the photo.
Oh yeah. So we've been on it a bunch of times already.
Yeah.
Because Space Mountain's the best ride in Disneyland. Like
for sure.
Just completely. And we went in and we're like, we should get one that's actually a good photo. What should we do? I don't know, we could like just do a weird face. We could pretend that we're serious, but like everybo's done that. And I'm not saying people haven't done the one we did,
Of course.
but we decided to take off our shirts. And so
Where were you on the cart? Like, we're on the roller coaster itself. Where were you? Were you in the back, in the front? Like, where were you? Like,
we were like mid.
were you in
I
the mid?
think
But were you
mid.
like in the front part of the mid? Because the carts go by like 2 rows, right, per cart. Were you in the front row or the back row?
I couldn't remember that. Yeah, I don't really remember that. But definitely people would have seen us do it.
Yeah,
if that's
for
what you're wondering.
for sure.
But we took off our shirts right at the beginning because that's where it's the slowest part, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
it's just like and,
Yeah.
and you don't want to accidentally lose your shirt.
Right.
Like
You come out shirtless and you're gonna get kicked out, right? So
Well, actually, I don't know. It's California, baby. It's hot.
there's also like a lot of kids there as well, right?
Oh, that might be. But we took the shirts off, and then immediately we're like, oh no, it's freezing. Because we went, first of all, it's inside, air conditioned,
Yes.
in the dark.
So for those who
And you're
have
going through it like crazy fast. Woo.
For those who haven't been to Space Mountain at Disneyland, Space Mountain is a roller coaster where it
It's
is
indoors.
It's indoors, and it's essentially you're going essentially through space, as the title leads
Yeah,
it to say.
it's blackout.
Complete
So-
pitch black. There's like stars,
Flashing lights and
stars and things like that. But you don't know where you're going. You don't know
Yeah.
which way you're turning, up or down, or whatever. And it goes pretty fast.
Yeah, I think if we were in any other ride, because it was California and it was hot, it would be fine.
Yes.
But like
Like
we were,
Splash Mountain or something like that.
well, yeah, even that would be good because then you get water on yourself and you're like, ah, so
Yeah.
refreshing.
But Space Mountain.
Space Mountain at night, so it was already a bit cooler outside because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
at night. But it was air conditioned inside Space Mountain, so it was freezing, and we were zooming through, so all the wind was hitting us, and we're like,
Yeah.
And so eventually, midway through, we put our shirts back on, but we kept them like over us.
How did you put your shirt? Doesn't it like go over your shoulders, or is it like a waist like the seatbelt?
I think it's just a waist thing.
I was gonna say you can't put on your shirt. with
No,
one of
no,
those
I
things
don't, I
on.
don't think it's there. I think it was just a waist
Okay.
one. So I think that's how it worked. But then we took it off, and then immediately we were like, okay, we just gotta wait. And it seemed like the ride went forever.
Yeah.
Because the ride's so good. When you like this ride, you're just going on it, and you're like, this is nothing. But then, and you wish it was longer.
Yeah.
But when your shirt's off and you're freezing, you're like, this is the
worst.
longest. But yeah. We got off and we heard other people laughing and we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And so everybody else was looking at our photo and was like, look at these guys.
Because at the end of the ride, you go like on this like kind of I guess would be like in a circle, and there's like a camera there.
Yeah, and it takes a shot.
Yeah,
of
it
you.
takes a shot
lot
of you.
A lot of roller coasters.
So you can like
have
print
these.
it off and take it home for the family or whatever. But yeah, this gets displayed in the hallway so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And so I think there was like a crowd around your guys' photo.
Yeah, there was
right?
like a bunch of people pointing at it and laughing, and we're like, oh, okay.
We should just leave.
We're going.
I remember-
we took a picture, so we have it. We didn't buy it. 'cause,
Yeah, yeah.
psh, we're not chums. But
Don't want to give Disneyland money.
that's only my second favorite. There's one that I have with my little sister where it looks like her eyes are about to come out of her head. She's screaming, and her eyes are so. I think it's the only one that we bought ever.
Oh yeah.
Because we bought that one because we're
'Cause her
like,
eyes were
"It
just
is
like-"
so good. She looks like it looks like an ad for the roller coaster because of how scared she looks. You would never think
Just
that
like
was
just
a-
like the claws in the movies where their eyes
It's
are
like-
like pulled back.
like it's insane. It looks so insane. Okay, so we're coming to.
Is it
getting
time
there close.
already? I just want to tell one quick story about our Space Mountain experience.
Okay.
So me and my dad, after we heard about your experience, we went a couple
yeah.
of years after. We're like, oh, we want to do something similar, but you don't want to obviously copy the original.
Yeah.
So we're like, what are we gonna do? My dad's like, oh, let's get an action shot of you punching me in the face, right?
And you actually did.
Well, the thing is, we didn't know where the camera was at the time because it was our first ride of the day. So the entire ride, I'm like this to him, and he's like this, right? He's like, "Yeah," right? And so, but he's got, and so like, I'm like going along the ride. We don't know which way we're turning, so I end up like going back and then punching him when the cart turns
No,
again.
because it
Yeah, and he would like hold he like grabbed my wrist and like held it on his face, but he had like
Yeah.
scruff. So he would be like rubbing my
Yeah,
hand on
scratch.
his scruff. And I was like, ah! We got the shot eventually, but it's just like the whole time we're like, that was, yeah, like you said, it was like the worst ever.
How many times have you been on that ride? Because at that point, we pretty much knew where it was. We just took the shirts off at the beginning because we didn't want to.
I think it was like our first ride of the day type thing, right?
Okay.
So it was like you want to get it at the very
because we did
very
Space
beginning.
Mountain at that point like 5 or 6 times, so we knew exactly where that camera was. So did you think of a riddling? Because I tried my best to think of one. The riddling things.
You saw me. If you saw the episode I was on, I was garbage at them.
Oh, really?
I was so I didn't even try because I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Okay.
Let's just make a fun riddle.
No, I think I've got one.
What's in my pocket?
What is in my I think I have one.
Okay.
But
hey, we don't have anyone so far, so this is probably the best time now.
Okay, so this is all I could think of. I'm trying to think of another one that we can leave the listeners with.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So do you know how it works? You know how it works.
Yeah.
Riddling is where we combine a two-part something with a two-part something to make a two-part something. And so, let me see.
Good explanation.
This creature from outer space is very similar to his father.
Santa Claus.
That's a creature from outer space?
Do we know where he lives? We've checked the North Pole. He's not there. So he's got to come from somewhere.
That's true. You know what? Your logic is impeccable. It's very Invader Zim.
Listen, you can tell that I'm skinny, son.
Yeah.
Because I'm not skinny.
Oh.
No, I'm not skinny.
Oh, sorry. Do you think we have it? Do you know it?
I don't know it
at all.
I don't know it.
So
I'm terrible at these.
Should we just leave it then?
We should just leave it.
Okay, so that is the Village Idiom. Try to respond and answer that one. That is our riddle link for this week, and you can find more of the Village Idiom at.
On Instagram, it is the.village.idiom, and email is thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com. Facebook, it's 3 Minutes Gone all together, and YouTube, it's 3 Minutes Gone. I'm not skinny.
And I'm not Jurassic Mark.
And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and this has been the Village Idiom.
And Vince, if you want to put in like a post-production song here.
This is where you put in the A-Team theme and with like credits going up. So it's like
Last 3 minutes gone.